Hello, Internet. It is Perseus here from the Guild Natural Born Killers because we're awesome and old. I would like to pretty much do a Paladin tutorial for tanking. Not a too in-depth tutorial, just the basic stuff. Assuming you're already past 5 mans and you know kind of the basic spec and all that goodness. I'll still go over those a bit. But this is for you guys who are getting into raiding and finding out you're getting smashed and you go to the forums like, hey, do I need hidden expertise because I can't hold threat? I don't know what you're doing wrong, but you do not need hidden expertise. I will get that out of the way right now. Hidden expertise, not required for progression rating whatsoever. Cool. Now we're going to start out with the basic talents that people find optional for some reason as their spec, which I have no idea why. Okay, first off, Guarded by the Light. When you go into progression raids, why would you not get this talent? Increases your heal by 10% when used on yourself, and puts a protective shield over you if you use it to overheal. And let me say this right now, preventing the damage is always better than healing through the damage. I'll say it again. Preventing the damage is always better than healing through the damage. Even though it's a free heal, it's still better for you and your healers. They don't freak out. Great stuff. Divine Guardian. I have, for some reason, seen Paladins without this talent that are bitching about raids. I think I did a Pug Nefarian the other day, and someone was like, I don't have Divine Guardian because we asked him to use it on this Electrocute, and he was like, I don't have that talent. And I'm sitting there like, why the hell would you not have that talent in your rating? I guess the thing he looked up didn't have it. I don't know if he's just retarded. You know what? This is required for it. You can use it in every single boss fight. There's no boss fight where that is not usable. Great. Another talent, Pursuit of Justice. You might think, you can skip it. It doesn't mean much. 50% movement increased speed is awesome. On top of that, you get the free holy power if you get stun, feared, or immobilized. It doesn't happen too often on bosses, but there are bosses where you get stunned a lot, or feared, or even just trapped there for a second, and it usually counts that toward it. And on top of that, that also allows you to get 50 mastery rating to your boots instead of the stamina and minor run speed increase. Mastery. That brings me to my next point. Mastery. Best stat. When you're going for combat table coverage, mastery is the best stat. When you get to the 102.4% combat table coverage, you're going to take a smooth set of damage. And people be like, what about the magic damage? You don't have health for that. That's generally what cooldowns are for. And if you are in a fight where magic damage is really that much of an issue, more so than melee, you can swap out some trinkets, put some stam trinkets on. And if that's still not enough for whatever reason, on top of using cooldowns properly, and it doesn't have to just be your cooldowns, it can be other people's cooldowns used on you, which should be enough altogether, then I guess you can regen for more stamina if you have to for a specific boss encounter. But generally cooldowns are enough, and stamina trinkets are enough. Okay. So, there are 3 gems. Let me remove that. There are 3 gems that we're going to use for a combat table coverage spec. That would be a Fractured Amber Jewel, which is 40 mastery. Yeah. Use that in every yellow socket and every prismatic socket. Great. Awesome. There you go. Mastery, amazing. Increase your block chance. Good stuff. And then there are the Fine Ember Topaz, which is 20 parry rating and 20 mastery rating. More combat table coverage. You use this in every red socket you have. Assuming you're going for a pretty balanced, you want your socket bonuses, which are generally nice to have, in my opinion. And, yeah. Parry and mastery. Parry chance, block chance. There you go. And the third one is a Puissant Dream Emerald? Yes, I have it right. Puissant, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I've heard some, other ways to say it, which are kind of funky. But this is what you're going to put in your blue sockets. 20 mastery, 30 stamina. The mastery, block chance, stamina, it's there. It's one of the best ones that fit. The reason why, let's say you wouldn't put a dodge dodge gem in here right now. When you're below the 102.4%, mastery is more important because block chance, or I'm sorry, not block chance. Mastery rating does not have diminishing returns. You will need the same mastery rating to get 1 point of mastery for every point of mastery you get, no matter how high it is. That is not the case for dodge and parry. Every percentage of dodge and parry, you need more rating to get 1%. I hope that makes sense to you guys. If not, I apologize. I do not know how to explain it really any simpler than that. So there you go. Great. Now we're going to talk about reforging here. Now, like I said before, hit and expertise. Get rid of it. Get rid of the hit and the expertise. You might say, but I hate missing. And you know what truth is? It is annoying to miss. It is annoying to get those miss streaks, parries. You're just like, oh, die. Die, game. Because you're missing on a holy power. Ugh. It's terrible. So, you know what? You're just going to have to get used to it. You can either say, be stubborn and be like, I do not like missing. And then just know that if you do that, you are keeping yourself in the survivability department to get more threat and not miss. Let me point out right now that missing is not that bad. It's a little freaky in the first part of the fight, but if you're getting hit by the boss and you have a rogue or hunter in your raid and they, MD you and tricks you, that will last long enough that by the time it wears off, your vengeance will have stacked so high that every hit that you do land will hit so hard that you'll get a crap ton of threat. There you go. So you shouldn't have to worry about it too much. Alright, so that being said, reforging. I have restored some items. That's where I'm spending gold for you guys. I've restored some items to their normal thing to show you what's up. So let's take the Paladin Tier 11 Heroic chest piece. You'll see that it has Mastery and Parry on it. You might think, oh, well that's fine, right? That is great. Why would you reforge that? Well, here's why. Parry rating, 1,940. Dodge rating, 1,360. To get the maximum combat table coverage, you're going to want these ratings to be as close together as possible. Generally, the parry rating will be much higher anyway because of strength converting to parry rating and the gems you use. So we need more dodge, basically. Less parry, more dodge. And it'll give us a minute percentage increase in our combat table coverage, which you might think, oh, it doesn't matter, but you know what? It helps. Whatever helps. This is if you want to be your best. We're going to take that, take off parry rating, and add dodge rating. Reforge. Done. Great. That's done. And I don't know why I closed that. I'm good at life. Now we're going to take this neck. Firebound Gorge it. Firebound Gorge it. I believe I'm saying that right. I looked it up to not be a fool. So mastery expertise. Has expertise. Self-explanatory. Get rid of that expertise. Get rid of it. Expertise. You know what we need? Since it already has mastery, we need more dodge. Dodge rating still lower. Great, done. Cool. Shield, hit rating, same thing. Hit rating and mastery. We already have mastery, we get rid of the hit, and we put it into dodge. Not parry, dodge. There we go. Great. Done. That is the lesson on reforging. And, oh wait, one more example. See my belt, for instance. Dodge and mastery. You know what? That is fine. We need as much dodge as we can get and as much mastery as we can get. So this belt is fine without being reforged. It's perfect. Do not touch it. Alright. Now, to help out a little bit on the losing of expertise and hit, we're going to look at this glyph. This one glyph will help you a lot. Glyph of Seal of Truth. Whenever your Seal of Truth is active, you get 10 expertise. There you go, free 10 expertise. Best threat stat in the game, and you get free 10 of it, which helps out a little bit when you're reforging out of it. You still miss a lot, you still have those unlucky streaks, but no big deal. Another thing, glyph-wise, Word of Glory. For progression rating, I see no reason why you would not get this glyph. Sure, Word of Glory is on a 20-second cooldown, but you know what? The more healing it does to you, the better. The more shield you get from Guarded by the Light, the more absorb you get, the more healing done to you, you're a better tank. Congratulations, there you go. Shield the Righteous, self-explanatory. Please get Focus Shield if you're going for progression rating and you're thinking about boss fights. The more damage you shield does to the boss, the more threat you get, and the faster the boss dies over the course of a 5 to 10 minute fight. Good stuff for you and your healers. Cannot forget about those healers. They love you. Holy Wrath, amazing in this expansion because there are tons of elementals and dragonkin, and it's even used on boss fights. For instance, Ragnaros. The Sons of Flame, Holy Wrath. You pretty much, if you have a Paladin in your group, you pretty much want them to have this Glyphing no matter what spec you have, because AoE stun on those elementals kind of useful, especially if they're getting a little close for comfort, and you need, your druid's like off doing something. If you have a druid, and Boomkin, for instance, your druid's off like, oh my god, I'm over here, wait a minute, and then you stun him, he gets over, he's like, bam, Typhoon, suck it. Great, you saved it. Third glyph, this one's pretty optional. I use Rebuke because as a tank, I am relied on for interrupts quite a bit, especially in Firelands, and especially on the List Resort encounter, for instance. I like being able to interrupt, and I don't want to have to worry about mana when I do it. If there's a point where for some reason I'm low on mana, say if Judgment missed a few times, happens, I do not want to not be able to interrupt. This glyph is useful for me. And yeah, that coupled with the Avenger Shield, you're an interrupt pro. And if you get lucky with the Avenger Shield procs, you're even more of an interrupt pro, assuming your shield doesn't miss. That's the downside, your shield may miss. I actually have not gotten unlucky with that one yet, when I needed it to hit. It's always hit. So, there you go. Some glyphs you can use in place of this are Glyph of Lay on Hands, for instance, to reduce the cooldown of Lay on Hands by 3 minutes. This is entirely dependent on how often you use Lay on Hands and how long between your attempts on bosses are. If you're fine with the 10-minute cooldown, you don't need it. Get something else. Another one I want to point out is Glyph of Divine Protection. If there is a boss fight, and the biggest fear of death in that fight is magical damage, you might want to glyph this. If you're not using this cooldown for physical damage, you're only using it for magical damage, this glyph is amazing. 40% reduction in magical damage every minute. Great. Fights that this is useful on, for instance, Nefarian in the last tier. I'm just going to stick with that one because that one was a very cooldown heavy fight. And just amazing. Minor glyphs do whatever the hell you want. It doesn't matter. Am I forgetting anything? Am I forgetting anything? Great. You know what? I have something for you guys. It's a macro. Not my specific ones. This Unhittable Macro here. I will put it in the description if you want to use it. It's great. Let me just hit the button there, number 9. Look at me. With just kings. Not the most geared paladin, but I'm there. I need 102.4% combat table coverage, currently at 93.5. This will tell you, without you having to do any math or think, how much combined miss, dodge, parry, and block you have. It's great. It's wonderful. Awesome. My last point I would like to make is, what are we going to do in the future? Let's say, what happens? You say, hey, what happens when I do hit that 102.4%? Do I still stack mastery? No. You do not still stack mastery. You want to keep your you want to keep it at 102.4%, but mastery becomes pretty much crap. I mean, you use it to get to 102.4%, then you can stop stacking it. Now, people are wondering, should you stack stamina instead, or should you go for dodge, for instance? Me personally, I am going to go for dodge. More dodge than stam. You can argue stamina doesn't have diminishing returns, more health you have. But in this expansion, honestly, as of now, even in heroics, you're not in fear of getting 2-shot anymore. You might get 3-shot. You might get 3-shot, but you're not really going to get 2-shot in terms of encounters at this current point in time at 4.2. So if we're going for combat table coverage, you might as well move more of that combat table coverage into completely avoiding the hit instead of just blocking 30 to 50% of the hit. That's my opinion, and you know what? I think as the tier progresses, next tier progresses, and you get more dodge, and your parry rating ends up being maybe 20% each, you have a 40% chance to avoid, which is quite nice, and your healers will love you. There may be a point where the diminishing returns is just too much, that stamina will be better, but as far as you just hit 102.4% and you're wondering what to do, I would personally stick with dodge to move that combat table coverage to more of an avoidance, and therefore just less damage taken overall. And that's just me. Great. If you have any questions or comments, or telling me that I'm wrong, it's great. I would love to know if I'm wrong. Please let me know if I'm wrong and stupid. I love that. Post them below, and I will try and answer them. And if you have any requests for different videos, I can make those for you as well. I may do one for just 5-mans for the tank that's, I just hit level 85, what do I do? And then I may make a video for maybe your rotation, if you guys need help with rotations, when to use your Grand Crusader procs, what do you do when you do AoE, whatever. It's great. If you would like that, please comment below. I love you all, internet, even though you hate everything. Alright, I will see you guys some other time. Thank you.